같은데.
ARMY in shock. Could Jungkook's words to Jimin mark the start of something bigger? The silence after his words was deafening, yet the shockwave they carried was undeniable. Jungkook, standing before Jimin, uttered a promise that seemed to pierce directly through the heart of ARMY worldwide. In a moment so brief that it could easily have been overlooked, Jungkook's declaration ignited questions that now dominate global conversations. What did he truly mean? Was this a spontaneous assurance of friendship, or was it a carefully chosen signal pointing to something greater? A collaboration, a revelation, or perhaps even the beginning of a new chapter in BTS's evolving story? The gravity of that instant cannot be overstated. Fans, already accustomed to interpreting every gesture and word from their idols, immediately understood that nothing Jungkook says in front of Jimin is ordinary. His words carried history, weight, and a resonance amplified by the emotional bond the two share. For ARMY, the question became urgent. Could this promise be the seed of something monumental, or is it destined to remain an enigmatic fragment with no resolution? The reaction has been staggering. Across continents, fan discussions erupted, dissecting tone, expression, and even the pauses between Jungkook's words. It is not simply the content of what he said, but the context. Jungkook and Jimin are not strangers on stage. They are artists whose synergy has shaped unforgettable performances, whose harmonies have left indelible marks in music history, and whose friendship has become symbolic of BTS's enduring unity. When Jungkook promises something in front of Jimin, it is impossible not to interpret it as meaningful. The intrigue deepens when timing enters the analysis. Both Jungkook and Jimin are navigating pivotal moments in their solo careers, carving paths that emphasize individuality while carrying the weight of BTS's collective legacy. To introduce the possibility of coming together at this juncture does more than excite fans. It challenges the narrative of separation. It hints at convergence, at unity within individuality, at a moment when the members' independent voices might once again collide in harmony. This tension between separation and reunion, between individuality and collaboration, is precisely what fuels the current storm of speculation. Fans are not only asking if Jungkook and Jimin will sing together again, but why now? Why promise something so evocative in this exact moment of transition? Could it be that the members are quietly crafting something behind the scenes? Or did Jungkook, knowingly or unknowingly, set off a chain reaction by speaking words that were never meant to carry such immense symbolic weight? The psychological dimension of this moment is striking. For ARMY, Jungkook's words have become more than a statement. They are a contract of hope, an unwritten vow that something extraordinary may emerge. Hope in this case is not passive. It fuels discussions, inspires theories, and binds fans together across cultures and languages. Each day that passes without clarity only strengthens the intensity of speculation. In the absence of confirmation, imagination fills the void, and anticipation grows uncontrollably. Yet, the danger of overinterpretation lingers. Could it be that Jungkook's promise was nothing more than a heartfelt assurance to his brother in music, magnified into something much larger by the relentless gaze of millions? This possibility unsettles fans even more, for ambiguity is both a gift and a curse. It sustains excitement but also leaves space for disappointment. Still, history has shown that within BTS, small gestures often precede monumental shifts. A passing comment today can become the foreshadowing of tomorrow's headline. The shock among ARMY is not simply rooted in the words themselves, but in their potential consequences. If realized, a collaboration between Jungkook and Jimin would transcend the boundaries of a musical release. It would serve as a symbol, a reaffirmation that even in solo pursuits, the essence of their unity remains intact. The implications extend far beyond fandom. They touch on questions of identity, artistry, and the enduring power of BTS's message in a fractured cultural landscape. It is important to note that the intensity of fan reaction is not misplaced. The relationship between Jungkook and Jimin has been carefully observed for years, their dynamic often described as a balance of contrast. Jungkook's polished vocal power against Jimin's emotive delicacy, strength intertwined with vulnerability. Together, they create a fusion that resonates deeply. For Jungkook to speak directly to Jimin in this way, promising a return to that shared artistry, feels like a signpost pointing to something larger than either of them alone. Speculation spirals outward in every direction. Could this promise refer to an upcoming performance, a hidden recording, or even a surprise appearance that no one expects? Or is it something less concrete? An emotional declaration meant only for Jimin that inadvertently reached the ears of millions? The ambiguity is maddening, yet it is also what keeps this story alive. It is precisely the lack of clarity that fuels the collective shock of ARMY and ensures that this moment will not be forgotten. The cultural stakes of this promise cannot be ignored. In a time when BTS's members are pursuing individual projects, fans crave symbols of togetherness, however small. Jungkook's words, therefore, function not only as a personal assurance but also as a beacon of unity. Whether fulfilled or not, they have already achieved something remarkable. They have reignited the sense of anticipation, the belief that despite the distances and solo paths, the bond remains unbroken. What lingers now is the question that refuses to be silenced. Could Jungkook's words to Jimin truly mark the start of something bigger? Or will they remain as one of those tantalizing fragments, forever dissected, forever speculated upon, but never fully realized? The uncertainty is unbearable, yet it is also irresistible. For ARMY, this is the kind of tension that defines their relationship with BTS. Constant surprises, perpetual curiosity, and an unending search for meaning in every word, every glance, every promise. Until clarity emerges, fans remain suspended in that tension, torn between excitement and apprehension, hope and doubt, certainty and speculation. Jungkook's words have already achieved what few moments can. They have captivated the world, kept millions awake with questions, and ensured that the bond between him and Jimin will continue to dominate global conversations. And so the story remains unfinished. The promise, the shock, the speculation, all of it exists now as part of a larger narrative that may one day resolve in spectacular fashion, or may forever remain a haunting fragment. Either way, ARMY stands witness, holding on to every word, every silence, every possibility. What made this moment even more unforgettable was not just the words themselves, but the timing and the intensity with which they were delivered. Jungkook did not speak lightly, and Jimin did not receive those words casually. For ARMY, this was not a fleeting promise thrown into the air. It felt deliberate, intentional, and layered with meaning. The sharp question now lingers in the minds of millions. Did Jungkook just set the stage for something monumental, or was this simply an intimate moment between two members? The uncertainty fuels the intrigue, and the speculation grows louder with every passing hour. The emotional gravity of such a statement is undeniable. In a group that has weathered countless challenges, promises like these are not offered without weight. Jungkook's tone suggested sincerity, and sincerity at that level often carries consequences far beyond the moment itself. Could it be a spark for a future collaboration? Could it hint at a reunion of energies in a way the public has not yet imagined? Or perhaps it was a symbolic reminder of loyalty between brothers who have stood side by side for years. Regardless of interpretation, the effect is the same. ARMY is left speechless, restless, and desperate for answers. Consider the context in which this unfolded. BTS members have often shared their admiration for one another, but rarely do such expressions ignite such fervent debate. Why? Because this was not an ordinary statement. It was a declaration that seemed to straddle the line between personal devotion and professional foreshadowing. In the world of entertainment, words like these are never dismissed. They ripple through fan communities, spawn endless threads of discussion, and become the foundation of theories that will not die easily. That is precisely what has happened here, as ARMY attempts to decode every nuance, every pause, every subtle glance exchanged between Jungkook and Jimin in that moment. This is where the emotional pull intensifies. To those who have followed BTS for years, this feels like history repeating itself, but with a new edge. The promise resembles past moments of camaraderie, but carries a heavier undertone, as if it points toward a specific future event. Fans are reminded of previous instances where offhand remarks later manifested into concrete projects, performances, or even global phenomena. Could this be another one of those prophetic moments? Could Jungkook's words